Я вітаю всіх,
Happy to greet you all who joined us today. Media Center of Ukraine, Ukrinform continues work. And now we'll talk about the operative situation in the front line. Our speaker, Oleksandr Motuzyanyk, the Speaker of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Good day to you all, dear friends. To your attention, we propose information regarding the peculiarities of Russian aggression against Ukraine for the 1st of June 2022 at 9 a.m. The active phase of a great war for freedom. Thus, aggressor continues full-scale aggression against our state. The main purpose of occupants is reaching the administrative borders of Lugansk and Donetsk regions, keeping the land corridor to temporarily occupied Crimea Peninsula, and blocking sea communications of Ukraine in a northern western part of Black Sea. To keep the land corridor between Rostov region and Crimea, the enemy continues creating second and third lines of defense on Pidenobusky direction, conducts engineering positioning, and increases fire capabilities on the Slobozhansky direction, and moves from storage equipment and brings in reserve from territory of Russia. Regarding operative circumstances, different direction. In Kharkiv direction, to decrease the assault potential of defense powers, the enemy shot at positions of Ukraine army from cannon artillery and MLRS near Oleksandrivka, Slatne, and Sirkuni. Also, occupants made helicopter strikes of army aviation near villages Vesela and Ternova. In Slovakia's direction, Russian occupant forces regrouped after they suffered losses near Dovgenko. They were forced to withdraw for replenishment to Izum district, some detachment of Western district. Donetsk direction. Armed forces of Ukraine contained the assault of the enemy that, with the help of aviation, focused on capturing Severodonetsk city, surrounding Lysychansk, and reaching the administrative border of Lugansk region. To cause losses and exhaust personnel of our military, the enemy fires along all the contact line, uses mortar, cannon artillery, and MLRS. Liman direction. Ukrainian army repels attacks of enemy that, after enforcing Group F by detachment of Central Military Region and with help of Ka-52 helicopters, assaults in direction of Liman, Stary Caravan. Severodonetsk region, our detachments contain assaults enemy in northern and southern and eastern parts of the city. In Bakhmut direction, armed forces of Ukraine counter the attempts of enemy to push our detachments from the positions near Bilogorivka and Vrubivka. With that purpose, enemy makes intensive airstrikes with assault and military aviation near Kamyshevacha, Berstovo, and village Nirkove. In result of enemy assaults near Vozdvizhenka, the enemy had partial success that allowed them to capture the southwestern part of this settlement. Zaporizhzhia direction. The enemy conducts engineering works and tries to improve the fortification equipment of the second line of defense on the line Gusarivka, Vershina, Rozivka. In Adivsky, Kurakivsky, and Novopavlovsky directions, the enemy keeps the positions and fires from mortar and cannon artillery to the side of Ukrainian military. Pidenobusky direction, Ukrainian military fights against the enemy group. The enemy group consists of detachments of 8th, 49th Army, 22nd of Army Corps of Southern and Novedeve military. Right now, the enemy is focused on holding the ground and creating second and third lines of defense. Near Mykolaiv, Novopavlovsk, Shiroke, occupant makes intense fire out of MLRS, cannon, artillery, and different calibers of mortars, Volinsky and Politsky directions. Situation overall without changes. The detachments of Belarusian army, up to 7 battalions, continues conducting attacks on enforcing the border of Belarus and Ukraine. They check the preparedness of detachments. Our reconnaissance informs that the Russian forces, they equip positions in regions Podvodzka and Nikislica, Branska region, Russia, 3 kilometers from the state border of Ukraine. Also, aggressor made an aviation missile strike with 2 fixed-wing airplanes Su-35 on the territory of Ukraine in the region of Bilopilia, 8 kilometers from the state border. Also, there was enemy artillery fire near Seredna Buda settlement, Sumska region, 2 kilometers from the state border. Further, we can expect we don't exclude the increase of intensity of firing at our military and infrastructure in this direction, although there are possible raids and sabotages from detachments of Russian army. Black Sea and Azov zones. Ships of Black Sea Fleet in Aquatorium of Black and Azov Sea, they continue isolation of the war zone, conduct reconnaissance, and assist with fire to the Russian occupied army. The enemy continues blocking the civil ships in the northern western part of Black Sea. The preparedness of using missiles in the Aquatorium of Black Sea is still 1 ship that bears caliber and total amount is up to 8 missiles. Regardless of that Russian have the upper hand, more personnel and artillery, Ukrainian military holds the defense and cause germane losses in personnel and equipment to the occupants. Over the day in the Donetsk Lugansk direction, our military repelled 9 attacks, burned 2 tanks, destroyed 13 artillery systems, destroyed 8 armored vehicles and 6 vehicles. On the south, in Kherson and Mykolaiv region, losses of occupants, except for military equipment, amounted to roughly 70 personnel. Overall losses, as the General Staff published, you can see on the slide yourself. That's all information from me for today. Thank you for your kind attention. We will win together. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to heroes. Dear colleagues, you can ask questions now, please. Victor Manik of CGTN. If you can speak about it, could you speak more about Severodonetsk situation, in particular on the plant of Azot? Do we plan to evacuate civilians from the regions that are controlled? Dear friends, regarding the Severodonetsk city, actually the situation is very uneasy. There's active war there. The enemy detachments penetrated Severodonetsk. There's street fighting. They reached the center of the city and they tried to hold positions there. Regarding the evacuation, military administration notified all that can that they have to leave the city because there's active war there. The evacuation was ongoing, and as far as I know, it continues. Thank you. More questions? Thank you for the information. Thanks to David. I wanted to ask you, what is the percent of occupant army still controls the Severodonetsk? How much population still remains in Severodonetsk? And also the question, Ukrainian army, how much of Lugansk and Donetsk regions is controlled by Ukrainian army now? I understand the question. I would not want to count in percent. I don't know if it's relevant. I can say that the war is ongoing. The enemy put the maximal reserves there to reach the borders of Lugansk region. Their main tactical purpose is to fully control the Severodonetsk city, and they want to surround Lysychansk. And Ukraine armed forces counter them actively. So I would not want to speak in percent right now, how much we control, how much we don't. Manage the situation overall is under control of Ukraine military. We know the enemy plans, and our job, our task is to hinder them from reaching the goals, to prevent them from reaching goals. Thank you, Mr. Oleksandr. Thank you for coming to us. I apologize in English.
Can you tell us a little bit more about advances in the Kherson region, and in particular, is there any possibility, or what's the situation with the canal, the Kherson Canal?
Уточніть, з яким саме каналом?
Which canal do you mean? What do you mean by canal?
Canal to the Crimean Peninsula, Kherson Canal.
Питання ваше так.
I understand the question, but I will not comment the question of that infrastructure because that's the military administration of Kherson. I can say that in Kherson region, the enemy tries to hold ground. In particular, according to our information, they equip second and third line of defense. There is partial success in Kherson region that we could reach with separate, successful counterattacks of certain detachments of armed forces of Ukraine. The situation is like this, but it's uneasy. As you know, Russian side switched off the mobile, blocked the mobile connection in the region and in the city. It's all very difficult still. Thank you for the information. Thank you, Mr. Oleksandr. Oleksandr Motuzyanyk was with us, the Speaker of Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, and at 3:30 we will have the presentation of Ruch Oporu, the movement of defense, that will tell us about the task of defense, how to resist the enemy at occupied territory. The Vladimir Zhubchagov will present it, Valery Petkovich, the representative of military TV, and Yuri Yusov, the representative of the press service of the intelligence